right, fight fans, here we go. The co-main event of this evening. SparStar Promotions is proud to present the rerounds of mixed martial arts for the vacant SparStar Promotion and California State lightweight title. Once again, our referee in charge of this bout, George Gallegos. And now, introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, he is wearing black trunks trimmed in red and blue lightning bolts. He is training out of SoCal Fight Factory in Palmdale by way of Wrightwood. He weighed in 154 pounds. His record, 4 wins, 1 loss, with 2 wins coming by way of stoppage. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Trever Devestern! His opponent across the cage on my right, fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing black trunks. He is training out of Gracie Apple Valley and Team Inner Strength by way of Victorville. He weighed in 154 pounds. His record, 4 wins, 1 defeat, with all 4 wins coming by way of stoppage. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Aaron Trobee! Once again, our referee in charge, George Gallegos, to give final instructions.
Gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I expect a clean fight, obey my commands at all times. Is there any questions from the blue corner? Questions from the red corner? Touch them up, come out fighting.
All right, John.
Oh, man.
Fireworks?
Yeah, 100%. There's no way this is not going to be an exciting fight. Both of these fighters are just so tough and so good. They're both kind of arguably at the end of their amateur MMA career, and should be going pro anytime soon.
And Aaron has made such a name for himself here at SparStar, so he is definitely a fan favorite. He brought a huge crowd. But Trever, interesting thing about him, he is going to bring a good sense of wrestling into this. So you get the sense of who's going to be able to act first.
Yeah, let's see if this height discrepancy plays out in this match. They're both sizing each other up. No one wanting to be overly aggressive, at least initially. Some good leg kicks.
They just don't want to overcommit at this point, because right now they're feeling each other out. They're starting to understand, all right, I know this person's very good. I know this person. I've seen this person at SparStar before.
Oh, nice
Superman punch coming in.
Kick to the body from Trever. That lead inside kick from Trobee.
Now Trever actually bringing his movement to a halt. And anytime somebody does that to you who has explosive movement, you have to figure they're countering and they're waiting for you to make a mistake.
Coming in, looking to throw some knees, looking for an Uchimata. Whoa, who's going to end up on top of this one? And Trever, good in the scramble, ends up on top. Nicely done.
Now, this is a very interesting position for Trever because he's used to these kind of exchanges. A heavy wrestling background against somebody who's also very traditionally solid in their jiu-jitsu. You're looking at Apple Valley's very own pride and joy out of their own training systems out there. And I gotta tell you, John, you see that jiu-jitsu already going into effect, him going to that half guard and trying to keep himself clean. Now Trever, it looks like he's kind of working at a guillotine here, John?
Man, this is a very tricky guillotine. You don't see many people that are good at finishing a half guard topside guillotine.
You almost get the sense that Trever, was almost gifted that half guard to really go more for strikes there, but now is going to be put into a guard. So excellent re-guard work here.
Yeah, I don't love this from Aaron though, because he had that butterfly with double unders, and he elected to move to close guard. Unless he's a super close guard specialist, typically you can get hit a lot easier in the bottom side of close guard. Now starting to get his hips turned to the side. Now he's thinking about it. Looking to throw his legs up over for an arm bar. But Trever keeping him squared up with the hips. Trever does not want Aaron's hips to get
I
offline.
wonder if he's going to try to hand off that arm to the other arm underneath the back there. For a split second, I thought he was heavily considering it, but now heavily stuck in that guard.
Yes, interesting round. And great defense from Aaron on the bottom. I mean, I'm not as upset about Aaron going to that close guard because he avoided so much damage from there.
Well, Aaron is somebody who is used to that kind of position, I'm assuming, especially with that Gracie, Apple Valley kind of jiu-jitsu that you do see that's a little more traditional. So if they're not afraid to go to that closed guard, he probably figures he has more weapons there. Or, hey, it might be really hard to get up with a wrestler who, if you make a certain mistake, is going to do nothing but just stay on top of you in a worse position.
Yeah, close guard, it can be such a mixed bag. If you're a specialist, okay, great, go to it, but it's difficult to make it work in MMA.
Yes.
And a lot of gyms, the way that they teach close guard is more for sport jiu-jitsu, and it's not as concerned with managing the distance and managing or at least trying to minimize the damage. But Aaron's guard, his close guard, was very good at minimizing the damage. And so he wasn't able to get his attacks off, but he also was not getting really punished the way that most people would in the bottom of close guard from there. So at the very least, able to do something unusual and stay nice and safe down there in the close guard. Be interesting to see what happens in this round number 2.
You mentioned that he didn't take as much punishment, but he was blocking a lot of those punches from the inside. So now we're looking at Trever. Aaron wants to brawl very quickly.
Yeah, and two just exchanging right hands right away. Both of them land.
It sounds like they were inviting more Superman punches for him to go ahead and attempt on this, John.
Yeah, and Trever just dipping his head and throwing that overhand right. Looking for the Tsuchimata again. Nice knee up the middle. Both of these guys are in such good shape.
Ooh.
Good kick.
It was a well-timed kick if I were to have one there, John.
Yep.
However, now Trever, he is trying again for this grip, but that posture is very difficult to break down at that point.
Yeah, I would love to see Aaron just throw his right arm up over the trap, which pretty much negates the high elbow guillotine, and then try to spin Trever over towards that side, towards that right side.
Yeah, I'm getting increasingly more concerned about that grip. Now, going around the body isn't necessarily a bad thing if you can kind of break it. However, wow, big risk, big reward there for Trever.
Yeah, Aaron ends up on bottom. Really nice control from Trever.
And I do get the sense that
He's
Trever...
going for this guillotine still, I think, or he's just using it to at least control to advance the position. I wonder if that was his half guard strategy as well.
Maybe.
Good lockdown from Aaron. This should take some of the weight and pressure off of his head. But Trevor's really trying to finish. Very difficult to do. Very few people are good with this topside half guard guillotine.
And here's what I feel right now. If you're Trever, I think you want to concentrate more on trying to go to that mount. I feel like his mount at this position gets him more opportunity potentially for that guillotine, and you don't want to end up back here, which is why you look at that half guard and you say, all right, if you could maybe throw strikes, great, if that's what you're comfortable doing. Now, Trever has some more information, though, this time. He knows that he's going to do that kind of body triangle from inside of the guard, and he found a few more angles that time. If he can switch that up and find the angles to get some more of the strikes from inside of here, I think is a better use of his time. The problem is, you saw how it mitigated him last time, and now there is an opening. I feel like you do want to posture up in those moments, though, if you can.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see, like, once the guard comes open like this, just Trever, just get out of here. I mean, maybe he thinks he's scoring, and maybe he is scoring, just being on top. But he's not doing any damage. He's really leaving this one to the judges if it potentially goes this way, especially in round number 3, because he's not doing much damage on top, even though he's on top. And if Aaron's doing all the damage, even if it's from bottom, a lot of refs or a lot of judges might score that for Aaron.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. There is a possibility of it. I just want to think, if you are at all in the corner for Trever, you have seen 2 rounds of that go into the guard, and you've seen mitigated results. So you know it's a possibility, but for your own likelihood of winning this and making sure that you come home with a win, perhaps you need to stay out of that at a little bit more urgency.
Yeah.
Now, if you're Aaron, it's converse. If you want to keep him there, it is a risky strategy because we've seen him kind of pull to that section a couple times, and that seems to be a very good spot where he does roll those punches. He does keep himself safe, but does that safety win him the fight? Yeah. So now both of these fighters have challenges going into this 3rd round.
I know. I would love to know how the judges are scoring this, because some judges score only damage, not position, right? But some judges will say that this is not enough action to even count as damage, and they'll give it whoever's on top, right? So it just really depends. It could go either way, but you're both leaving it to the judges at this point. And I would hate to do that as a fighter, if at all possible.
Now, that's interesting. Aaron going back to the kicks, they have provided some really good moments for him throughout the fight. So if he's going for his own takedown, but he gets
that Uchimata to work.
Now this is a really good moment for Trever. This is kind of what you really hope for. You may not, he does have both hooks in. This is actually very strong of a position for him. You do want to think at this point, do you want to go to the choke? And so far he's under the chin, John, but it's not quite perfect, but he could flatten out here. Talk us through what you're seeing on your side, sir.
Really bad position for Aaron to be in. I like the way that he's trying to get his hips up, he should be trying to get one leg in between the legs of Trever, but he's unable to do so. Maybe now trying to spin around to get Trever down on the bottom, but he's getting flattened out. This underhook and wrist control that Trever has allowed him to tee off.
From that last angle, I was worried about if he was going to be dumped off and fall off, because he doesn't. The hooks on the legs are a little off, but he had that wrist control that was keeping him balanced.
Yeah.
And that was a really good, honestly, that's the money for him right now for Trever. And he's still working for this choke. He's up against the cage. I can't get a great look at it, but this is problematic for Aaron. Even if you're not getting choked, you are losing this round, and there is a minute 38 for somebody to work with a very good starting position on the back here, John.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor's doing much better in this round. This is the stuff that I think he should have stuck with from the get-go. I'm not sure if he could have made it here, but Aaron is just having a heck of a time with this, and now getting flattened out. One of the worst positions we can be in.
I got to be honest here. For Trever, I think you need to maybe start going more for the strikes. Concentrate a little bit less maybe on the chokes, just in this particular position, because this is where you can really start to unload. This is what he's been working for. Either here or in mount. That's, I think, the choice, and I hope that's what his team is calling out for.
Yeah, and I like the way he's going to double unders to reset the position.
Yep.
Now finding the choke.
Opened it up very nicely, John.
Aaron pulling that arm down. You can still be choked from here.
You could, and he is offsetting it, but he's taking it on the brunt of the face at this point. It's traveling probably right around the nose, and that is not fun pressure to get, because he can rechamber, and go back to that position. When you have that sort of onslaught, you're getting exhausted, and you're feeling just depleted on the energy. And again, going back to the strikes, this is where I felt that Trever needed to be. And if he so gets this arm triangle, he has a lot more likelihood of being able to pull it off. But already, Aaron turning to his side, not wanting to give him that head and arm triangle, but just enough possibly to have lost this fight right now. And that's the tough part. And kudos right now that Trevor's going to finish by making a statement. And yeah, he should put his arms up, because he finished that 3rd round very well for him.
Yeah, I mean, that was the most one-sided round for sure.
Absolutely.
Out of all 3, and he looked great in that round. Aaron, I think he did an amazing job, considering he was stuck in some of the worst positions you can be in MMA. Look at him. He doesn't even look like he's taking that much damage. He should look horrific right now. But he was able to avoid damage. He was able to avoid the submissions, and still stayed in the fight. But
let's go back and look at that first Superman punch right there. That was a great moment from Aaron, really early in the fight. Now we go back probably to more highlights of these trips. I mean, listen, every time you look at these positions, that's how you know the wrestler is in Trever. You win those positions. going back from the inside of that guard. Aaron was working overtime to make sure he was going to block as many of those shots as possible. And guess what? That proved to be a big problem for Trever. He was able to find a few more of those angles within the second round, but it was not an easy task because Aaron had an excellent guard. Excellent. And this duck down and then straight to finding your way to win on top. Crossbody off of that. We go back to a second series of shots. And here's the thing, I felt that Trever wanted to unload. I felt like he wanted to really win on the striking exchange, but his bread and butter is going to be that wrestling and then combining that with his excellent strikes here. This is the fight right here that we're looking at that I feel Trever is the most dangerous with. That back control and just that onslaught of strikes where at the very end of the fight you're looking at a man just stealing some lunch money with that kind of posture and then going to celebrate with the crowd, and rightfully so, because that third round was definitely his.
Oh yeah, that was a great round for Trever. Man, it'd be very difficult for the judges to give this one to Aaron, I think. But you never know until you get the official announcement.
Hey, you never know, because he was actually sneaking in some of those strikes from underneath.
Could have been very even.
It could be closer than we think it is. However, it's hard to count against that third round in a very close fight. You know?
It was the only round where one person was clearly winning.
Yeah.
And Trever definitely dominated that one.
Well, let's find out what happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to our scorecards. We have our decision. Judge at cage side, Jackie Denkin and Chris Quayle score the bout 30-27, while Glenn Paulson scores the bout 29-28 in favor of our winner. By unanimous decision, they are the new SparStar promotion and California State lightweight champion, the blue corner, Trever Devestern.
Congrats to Trever Devestern. Looked great, especially in that third round.
He doesn't have enough torso for all of his belts. He has run out of space.
It's a good problem to have.
Hey. And you know, listen, that man, he was able to really put it together, especially in that third round. Just impressive work all around. And I want to tell you this. It's difficult to listen to some of this commentary sometimes, I'm sure, and then say like, oh man, but look at that guard. Yeah, I want that guard too. I would love to have that guard.
Yeah.
In terms of scoring points, it can be difficult, but not impossible to do. And I want to make sure that Aaron knows that when you go back and you look at this, you will see how much you were rolling some of those punches and how great you were.
So many other MMA fighters at the pro level would have just gotten absolutely beat up on the bottom of close guard in the same position that Aaron was. And Aaron practically took no damage and did arguably more damage from the bottom. So and that's just such a great asset to have and to be able to rely on if things don't go your way.
And it's something that I think that continues to flourish and continues to bloom.
Trever!
Let's go to this press interview with Trever right
New champ in the house. Make some noise once again for Trever. A true warrior. How do you feel, brother?
Oh man, I feel on top of the world right now. Thank you so much, everybody that came out. Sold out Commerce Casino crowd, man. Hey, give it up to Aaron as well, man. He brought it. Those leg kicks, I was shocked. He ain't stronger than he looks, man. He's strong.
This is your work plan? This is what you've planned through the whole fight, or you just was kind of surprised what was going on here?
To be honest, man, I wanted to stand up and bang a little bit more, but I dropped my hand for 1 second. He threw overhand right, caught me, and I saw a couple little stars. I was like, I got to go back to my what's in my blood, wrestling, so I had to take him down, you know. That's my plan B right there, so thank God for wrestling, man. If you got any kids out there, get them involved in wrestling, man. It's one of the best sports in the world.
And we'd like to give a shout out to any of your sponsors out there.
Yeah, man, shout out to Timberline, shout out to Guiltless, SoCal Fight Factory, Little Rock Wrestling. Thank you so much for having me in your room, baby. Let's go.
Once again, folks, your champion, Trever Devestern.
Hey, one last thing. I just want to give praise to God, man. God and everything. I don't want to sound like the typical guy. Thank you, Lord, though. Thank you so much, man. Go to church if you can on Sunday,
Once again, the new champ in the house. Aaron, brother, I know you got a lot of fans here tonight. You got a lot of fans here tonight. That's what I'm talking about. Big crowd, big crowd. Not to give any words.
Yeah, so first off, thank you for coming out and supporting us. Obviously, it didn't go our way, but we did execute our game plan exactly how we wanted to. It was just better tonight. And you know what makes me even more proud is I didn't have to talk crap to get here and get all these people here. So.
That's good. Hopefully one day we'll see a rematch or something coming up soon in the near future, right?
Yep. Yeah, we're going to be back. We're not going anywhere.
All right, fight fans. Aaron Trobee.
I like that our DJ was well equipped and ready for those drops.